Welcome to a brand new series where I recap everything Real Housewives. And we are going to be starting off our series with the Real Housewives of Orange County, Season 18, Episode 1, X's and OCs. Jumping right into the episode, we start off with last season's reunion where Gina and Shannon are going back and forth talking about Shannon's drinking and that she doesn't actually have much of a problem with drinking. Then, the producers being shady ladies like they are, they cut to news reports and news segments of Shannon getting her DUI, which was super unfortunate, nothing to laugh about because somebody could have gotten seriously injured, but I am going to laugh at the producers being shady. This is probably going to be the storyline for the entire season, considering everybody else is probably going to be very boring. And in this opening segment, we see either Shannon is talking about her DUI, the other women are talking about her DUI, or the public is talking about her DUI. So I think it's going to be no shock that most of the season is going to revolve around that. I think there's going to be a lot more information, a lot more story that we haven't gotten that is going to come to light. I think there's a lot of stuff that we haven't heard yet that's going to come out, and I think that's why Andy said that this is going to be one of the most explosive seasons that we've ever seen, which is crazy considering what we've gone through with Vicky and Brooks. After the opening, we jump right into the first scene. We got Tamara and Eddie in their room. They do dive into the drama that was going on between Jen and Tamara last season. And if you don't remember, that revolved around allegedly Ryan told a friend of Tamara's that he wanted to have sex with her, or that he was going to have sex with her while he was with Jen. And apparently this got back to Tamara and she felt uncomfortable being around Ryan. And if I heard that, I would probably be uncomfortable as well, especially if I was friends with his wife. Like, that would just be really weird. But we never really got an answer on like what happened with that. It's safe to say that there are some hard feelings. Part of the subplot for this season is going to be Tamara and Jen figuring out their situation, because I don't think we're done with that. We get to see one of my favorite people, Emily. I don't know why, I'm just really drawn to Emily. I just like how real she is. She wants to eat a sandwich or a sub in a sauna, she's gonna do it. So like, I love that about her. And I also love how real she is about her weight loss journey. Like, she said it was Ozempic, it was a little bit of lipo, and it was a little bit of going in the gym. And that's all you gotta say. Like, just say that you had this, and that. Like, don't try to hide it. And that's just another reason why I love Emily. Now, talking about Shane, you know, we won't get into that, but we love Emily. We finally get into Shannon Beador, and we see that Shannon has unfortunately had to downsize. And I don't think it's it might have a little bit to do with money. She's an empty nester now. Like, she doesn't need that big of a house anymore. And so like, what would be the point of being in this big old house by yourself? That just doesn't make any sense. She is renting. Nothing wrong with that. I did find it really sad that she said something to the effect of she couldn't go visit her daughter in college because of her DUI. Not for Shannon, because like, you reap what you sow. Like, you made a mistake, you gotta live with it, but more for her daughter. That just kind of sucks that her mom couldn't go see her. Also, I love how they keep retelling the story of Shannon crashing her car like we don't already know. John called her a drunken idiot. She put her foot on the gas to show him how pissed she was. She lost control of the car. She hit the house, and then, you know, whatever. Like, we know, Shannon. You don't have to tell the story a million times. I do find it really interesting later in the episode when they get to Heather's party, Shannon kind of dumps all of her DUI stuff on the new girl, Katie. I thought that was kind of weird, but you know, not my show, not my friend group, not my life, not my problem. Jen comes up in a confessional and says that she has a soft spot for Shannon. I don't think Shannon ever had a soft spot for her. I don't know why she's doing this. We'll see if she follows through with her soft spot for Shannon, but a lot of the girls are going to dogpile up on Shannon, and Jen being on the loner island that she already just is on because she's not as close-knit with the group as the rest of the girls are. I think she's going to ultimately decide to go with the rest of the group because she's not going to want to be singled out like she was last season. So according to Shannon, she talked to John 10 days after the DUI happened, and basically he said something to the effect of, "You have ruined my family with the amount of press and attention that you have, this situation has gotten, and throughout our relationship," which is totally unfair. You knew what you were walking into. You knew that Shannon was an accomplished reality star that had been on Bravo for years. And then now you're dating Alexis Bellino? I don't think so. So whatever this BS excuses of like your media presence and publicity ruined my family is BS for another excuse for why he doesn't want to be with Shannon, because this cannot be the reason, because it's so hypocritical. What is the most interesting about all of this is that Jim Bellino, Alexis Bellino's ex-husband, actually sued Tamara and Shannon, I think 3 or 4 years ago, for talking smack about him on a podcast. And I think it was mostly Tamara, and Shannon was just kind of attached to it. And Shannon got sued for $300,000 and Tamara got sued for $500,000. So obviously they're not happy about seeing or having Alexis Bellino anywhere around them, let alone dating Mr. John Jansen or Johnny D or whatever the hell name they came up with on the show. Because Tamara says, allegedly, that Shannon was pouring vodka into her Diet Coke secretly. But on Watch What Happens Live, Shannon cleared that all up and said that I'm not hiding my drinking. I did have a drink. Somebody bought me a drink and I didn't hide it from anybody. And then I was pouring vodka into my Diet Coke. Like, anybody could have saw it. So it could have been a situation where she did get caught and then she made it seem like she was doing it for everybody to see. But I think she does need to probably admit that she does have a little bit of a drinking problem. One of my favorites, Heather Dubrow. We see her beautiful new house in Beverly Hills, which is under construction. What else is new? Heather says that she is the one that is bringing in Alexis Bellino into this group. This friend of yours sued Shannon and Tamara for almost $1 million. And listen, for the money that they're getting for the show, yeah, it's not going to be easy. When new housewives are brought into the group, it's not oh, this is my friend that I'm bringing in. They were cast on the show, and so they have to have somebody make it look like they brought them in. Now, usually they have a friend on the show, a way in, and that's usually their lifeline. So usually it's that person, but it isn't just a willy-nilly kind of like, oh yeah, here's my friend. Like, no, that's not it at all. It's very planned, very thought out. So we get to Gina and Emily, who I've warmed up to Gina a lot these past couple of years. You know, all the stuff that she's been through, I think really has shown through to audiences, and I think has made her a really likable character. So Gina says that she was at the grocery store the other day, and if you remember Catherine, she was the blonde, she's kind of heavy set, not really, very loud, brassy woman. She was on Housewives, I think, for a season, maybe 2. She had a brother. Her brother saw Shannon at the store filling her cart up with booze after the DUI had happened. So if that's true, very interesting. And it's also interesting how that comes full circle with a housewife that used to be on the show. That's a little weird to me. But Orange County is a small place, so maybe they did run into each other. I don't know. And it is not lost on me that Emily is taking every opportunity that she can get to make fun of Shannon's DUI. Again, not something to laugh at, but the way that Emily says it and presents it, like, I can't help but laugh. It's just, the jokes are funny, and that's just the way it is. Along with Shannon's DUI, we have more bad news. Gina and Travis are thinking about splitting up. I think it's more Gina. Gina thinks that maybe this isn't right for the family. Travis has an ex-wife who he can technically not get divorced from because she won't sign the paperwork. So they cannot legally get married. They don't have enough money to support their whole entire family unit that they've created that I think includes 7 kids, I want to say. So 7 kids, Orange County. Like, I think, you know, Gina makes money on Housewives, but I don't think it's anything crazy, especially because views are definitely not what they used to be. And here's the thing, as I'm going both ways on this, I see it from both angles. Yes, Travis was there for Gina when she was going through all of her stuff, so she should be there for him when he's going through his stuff. At the same time, Gina is finally past all of her stuff with her ex, and they co-parent great and they get along well and there aren't many issues. She's out of it and she needs to grow and move on, and she can't still be stuck in this never-ending doom. Do I blame her for wanting to try something else? No. Do I think that splitting up for them is probably the best option right now? Yes. Do I think they're going to get back together? Yeah. I just think they need time to figure it out. I think they're a perfect couple. From what we can see on Housewives of Travis, I think he's great. He seems to make her really happy. And I don't think it's him that's making her unhappy. I think it's the ex-wife. It's them not being able to get married. It's not having the money to support the family unit. I think it's just a lot of things that are compiling and putting pressure on the relationship that isn't necessarily coming from Travis. Jen and Ryan are having a date night, and it seems like Jen is in a really, really bad mood. And it's because she is getting evicted from her house. Apparently, Jen's ex was supposed to be paying the majority of the payments on the house. And apparently, the owner of the house came to them and said, hey, we haven't gotten the full payments. We've only gotten partial payments. And so now we're going to kick you out. Ryan suggests to move in. I know that she doesn't have the financial means to stay where she's at. She's out of the family business. She's out of the family company. So she, needs help and support. Moving in with Ryan is not the way to go. There are other ways to combat this, and moving in with him is not the answer, mama. So now we get to the juice of the episode, baby. All the juicy that we've been wanting this entire time. We see Heather, Emily, and Alexis Bellino walk into the Quiet Woman for dinner, honey. What a perfect little setup that the producers did. They said, let me do my little homework, honey. Alexis had a really bad last year because her mom passed away. So Heather feels like she wants to bring her into the group to have support and friends through this really hard time. I don't know how that's going to happen when there's 2 people in the group that she sued. So, we'll see where that goes. Then we get into the story of how Alexis Bellino met John Jansen. And it's a cute story. Do I believe that this is how it went down? No. Nope, not in the slightest. On November 18th, 2023, John Jansen and Alexis Bellino just happened to both be at, you guessed it, the Quiet Woman at the same time. Apparently, he goes over and sits at Alexis's booth to say hi. How he knew Alexis and how to say hi after the fact that Alexis and Jim had sued Shannon is insane. That story doesn't make any sense. There is no way or no reason that John Jansen would go over to Alexis Bellino's table after he sued his ex-girlfriend. No way. There had to have been another thing that happened. They either messaged each other online prior, or they had planned this, or this is the story that they're sticking to. Whatever the case may be, that is not how it went down. And so apparently they couldn't fight the feelings. They talked for a couple weeks after. They didn't think it was a good idea, but then they, decided that it was going to be good for them to date. Which, again, if John Jansen is saying that Shannon's publicity has ruined their family, why in the actual hell would John go and date Alexis Bellino, who is just as famous as Shannon Bedore? Make it make sense, okay? Alexis has a bone to pick with Emily. She's mad about the episode where Tamara and Emily on 2 T's in a Pod were talking about if John would film. It came up on the podcast that there was the potential for John Jansen to be filming season 18 of Real Housewives of Orange County. Now, as you know, if you've been keeping up with Orange County in the past, John has basically refused or not filmed most of the time when he was around and he was dating Shannon. There were only a few scenes and a few times where we really saw John. We didn't really get to know him that well. And so they were just talking about whether they thought John was going to film or not. Well, Tamara thought John would probably film, or had heard, I think, that he was going to film with Alexis. And so Emily called him a douche. And I guess that made Alexis mad. And so she brings it up at dinner and asks her why she would say that. And Emily just says it flat. She's like, listen, I was around John and Shannon's relationship for years. I know what happened. I know the turmoil that happened. I think John's a douche. And then Alexis pops off and says, would you believe a drunk who just got a DUI? I said, oh, Alexis is coming in hot off the track, honey. And then we get a cut to Emily in a confessional, and the producer goes, is John a douche? And Emily goes, yeah. Alexis wants no ill will with Shannon. She says that she's not going to deal or entertain the conversation. It's not her business, and she's going to move on. Do we think that's going to happen? Big fat no. We see her at her lawyer's office, which, if you remember, this is the same lawyer that Shannon recommended for Gina when she got her DUI, and Shannon wouldn't stop talking about Gina's DUI. So it's very interesting to see Shannon in a worse predicament, but Gina's going to take the high road and not talk about it. Do we think that's going to happen? No! She's got to do alcohol school for 9 months and 40 hours of community service, which according to Watch What Happens Live, she has already finished her community service and she is just working on her alcohol school. But apparently she's still drinking, so I don't know how that's happening. Tamra tells Eddie that Alexis is going to be at Heather's party, and Eddie, funnily enough, says, "Don't get too close to Jesus Jugs," and we love Jesus Jugs. Well, we don't love Jesus Jugs, but we love the phrase, yeah, you got it. Okay, cool. We're on the same page, everybody. I have really high hopes for this new girl, Katie. She's beautiful. She seems really chill. She doesn't seem to know too much about the girls to have a opinion either way. So I think we're getting a fresh person. Whether she's playing this up for camera or not, we're never going to know. It usually never really slips if they watch the show preemptively or not, but just based off of her demeanor, I think she's going to be a fantastic addition to the Real Housewives of Orange County. I think she's going to bring a really fresh perspective, and I think she's going to have a lot of really interesting opinions. So Heather's party begins. And it's not the Heather Dubrow party you think it's going to be. Woof. Katie has met Heather previously. And apparently, Katie had said hi to Heather, and Heather had either not heard her or ignored her. I'm sure she didn't hear her. I'm going to give Heather the benefit of the doubt because I like her. We'll see what happens if Heather actually... Jesus Christ. We'll see if Heather actually warms up to Katie or not. I think Heather usually tries to befriend the new girl, and then at first, and then if it doesn't go well, then she drops them. So I don't know how to feel about this. I'm not a realtor. I don't know that business well at all. So I really don't have an opinion either way. I'm just here to report the facts, everybody. Gina is saying that she vouched for Jen when she got her house. And so Gina is actually a new realtor in the OC market. So she has to keep her reputation up and make sure there are no complaints and yada, 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 have a stellar record. She is not okay with the fact that she had actually recommended Jen for this house that she is now getting evicted out of because that will look bad on Gina. Again, I don't know this industry, so if it's true that it really is Jen's ex-husband who is not paying the debt on this house, then there's really no way that Gina would have known and it can't come back on her. If she was told that everything was this is how it was going to be paid and this was how it was going to go, I don't understand how Gina could ever even know that it was going to go sideways. And if anybody's going to blame her for that, I would say that's not her fault. Gina is overreacting. I think she's getting a little too oh, I don't want to be around this. I don't want to be around this. Kind of like Sutton was with the whole Erica Jane situation. I think if she is her true friend, and here's the thing, I don't know if they're true friends or not. I don't think they are. They don't really talk that much. But she needs to be there for her. So I don't know. I think she's overreacting. But again, like I said, I don't know this business. Emily tells Tamra that Shannon is on a 2-drink max. And Tamra goes, per hour? Which is just another jab at Shannon's sobriety. So then we get to the big guns. We get Shannon wants to pull Alexis outside for a conversation. And this is the conversation that we have all been waiting for. So really the whole conversation is mainly about Shannon is mad at Alexis because of the lawsuit. Even though Jim Bellino's the one who actually sued Shannon and Tamra, Alexis Bellino's name and signature was allegedly on those documents, and she was the one to actually send the first cease and desist. So they're claiming that this wouldn't have started unless it was for Alexis. But Alexis is saying that my name was not on those documents. She said, pull the proof. I had nothing to do with that. She even said that her and Jim were divorced 6 months prior to him suing Shannon and Tamra. I don't know if that's true or not. I think that's true. So it's either one of two things. Either Alexis's name is on those documents or it's not. And I'm about to go through and pull those documents because they are full public record. So you better believe next video, I'm going to have some court documents in this video. Shannon doesn't want to be friends with Alexis. She wants to have a one conversation and keep the peace. But Alexis is really just going in guns blazing. She goes, I don't know if you're jealous because you're the ex and I'm the new or what? I said, oh God, Alexis is just coming in. This is too much. This is too much. The best part of this entire conversation is all the girls are inside the party actually watching out the window and trying to listen to this entire conversation. So I think it's Katie. She goes, guys, this is like the NFL of tea. And I was like, yeah, girl, and you're new and you don't even know what the hell's going on. So imagine all the other women who are like, oh my God, like foaming at the mouth of like, what is going on here? Basically, the conversation blows up. Alexis tells Shannon to move on, but Shannon's like, no, I'm not going to move on. Are you going to write me a check for $300,000? And Alexis goes, no, I had nothing to do with that. She said, you're not getting any money from me, Shannon Bedore. There's the door, which is, I think, probably is going to go down as one of the best quotes from OC of all time. There's the door, Shannon Bedore. Shannon's blown away. I don't think she even thought that Alexis was going to react the way she did. I mean, the entire time, Alexis was just like, just trying not to pop off. And I think Shannon really delusionally thought in her head that she was just gonna, oh, la-di-da, like, I'm just gonna say this and Alexis is gonna take it. And Alexis has never been one to just take it. And then after the conversation's over, Tamra goes, scatter like cockroaches. It's over. And the episode ends. So we see that, like I said, this is gonna be a lot of Shannon's DUI. It's gonna be really interesting to see where this goes. Make sure you join me each and every week. I'm gonna be recapping each and every episode from this season. So make sure you're on the lookout for my latest video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.